And so that's one guarantee we've got if we can turn out the vote and win the House back. Also, the certificates of ascertainment are sent by the governors of the states and by the state legislatures that approve the popular vote in those states. We know that Trump tried to interfere both with the legislatures and the election officials like Brad Raffensperger in Georgia. But so far, those people have demonstrated respect and deference to the popular will as expressed through the Electoral College. So although eventually, and I hope soon, we'll get rid of the Electoral College and just have a national popular vote for president and elect the president the way we elect governors and representatives and senators, until then, we've got to defend every part of this antique system we've got against fraud and violence.
We only have a minute left, but you are the best framer of history in the moments we're in. So as we look to this week, a criminal trial starting tomorrow, how should we think about this moment in history?
Well, you know, Trump's people would like to trivialize and diminish the meaning of this trial, but in fact, it's perfectly emblematic of the others that are out there. They're all about electoral interference and manipulation. They tried it with violence, and we're going to see that in the D.C. case. They tried it with fraud. We're going to see that in the Georgia case. And here, they tried it with payoffs and then cooking the books, financial manipulation. That's what it's about. It's a very serious case, and I think the Trump people are going to be shocked how tuned in America is to what's going on here.
Congressman Jamie Raskin, thank you. Placing it in the moment of history to wrap us up. Up next, some news about what we're working on for tomorrow night's show.
Do you think, and I'm not saying these affairs happened, Donald Trump continues to deny them, but do you think, as you mentioned Melania Trump, that if he's not confessing, it is because of Melania and him not wanting to hurt her, make her angry, be on the receiving end of her wrath, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the court of public opinion and also honestly with his family, if he did just fess up and say this was, 15 years ago, I made a mistake and be humble about it. Yeah, I think it would go a long way. Now, I think legally it probably wouldn't be good because then he's saying that the payoff happened. But, he, of course, is going to deny it until the day he dies. It's just who he is.
Hope Hicks is listed as a potential witness. What might the jury hear from her that could be damaging to Donald Trump?
I think a lot of people are really hopeful that she's going to drop some kind of a bombshell, but my hopes are not up. I think she's going to, not recall a lot or not remember a lot. She remains, a loyalist with the Trump family. This is definitely not something that she would ever want to do. So it does make me wonder if behind the scenes she was not threatened, but if, the prosecution said they had some information that could hurt her. So I'm very surprised that she's actually even testifying. But and I hope she has information. She'll do the right thing. But my hopes aren't up that she will.
You told me on this show before that Trump directed you to deny allegations related to E. Jean Carroll. How do you expect him to react to testimony in open court from Stormy Daniels?
I can't imagine. I think there will be a lot of, shaking his head, muttering under his breath, disgusted looks. It'll be a performance for the jury. So that he about what a liar she is and all the things that he says about anyone who ever says anything about him. So I think that will be a day, despite what his lawyers probably are going to ask him to try to remain quiet and not show any facial expressions. He just won't be able to help himself.
Trump says he wants to testify, and you've said that Melania would push him to take the stand. Do you think she's playing a role in his decision? Would she be an advisor in this situation?
I think behind closed doors, as a husband and wife, she would probably say, look, if you have nothing to hide, take the stand type of a thing. But I know this is just his bluster. And as your reporter said earlier, he has said this so many times that he's going to take the stand. And then he's going to come out and say, oh, my lawyers told me I couldn't, so I couldn't go out and do it, which is so funny because he doesn't listen to anyone. He doesn't listen to his lawyers. He doesn't listen to anyone. So it will be his choice, absolutely. But I think he knows if he takes the stand, that will cause him a lot of trouble.
I'm curious because you were there. You were around when all of the Stormy Daniels allegations, the fallout, the furor about it all. What was that like inside the White House? I mean, what was the behavior of everybody? How concerned were they about this?
Oh, everybody was extremely concerned. You know, internally, people were in the West Wing were nervous of what us in the East Wing would be doing. Melania often came out with statements that, you know, were not what the West Wing would want us to say about various different things. And so I recall one time, former president calling me from Air Force One to basically see how angry she was and to see if we were putting any statements out, because, you know, we never checked with the West Wing if we were going to say anything. So he definitely was worried. The West Wing was constantly checking in with me. What's going on? What's going on? You know, I never shared with them, you know, her thoughts on it, because that was kind of personal, private conversations between the two of us. When I said we're not going to the State of the Union, or she'll just meet him on Air Force One, I just stopped there. And I think they all knew in the West Wing not to push further or not to ask her to do any more than that.
So a growing number of your former colleagues who served in the Trump White House say they are against Trump's reelection. They're using terms like threat to democracy. In fact, here's Anthony Scaramucci telling my colleague Nicole Wallace why even more people may not be speaking out. Take a listen.
Well, they probably don't like death threats, Nicole. I think we could probably start there. He will be way more organized this time. One of the reasons why that insurrection failed is that he didn't have the organizational skills. He doesn't have the executive management skills to run an insurrection properly. But he now has willing participants on that campaign that are way more organized than him. And so do not underestimate that.
Do you agree with that? And then is there anyone else you'd like to see speak publicly about their interactions with Trump?
Well, I absolutely agree with that. You know, the death threats are something that anybody who speaks out deal with all the time. But he's absolutely right about the organization. And he's going to, you know, I know people thought our first administration was a mess, but there were some really good actors in there trying to work for the country and stop him from doing things. That will not be the case this time. He will put only yes people in all of the positions of power, including from the vice president down to all cabinet members and the heads of agencies. And that's something that should really, truly scare the American people. You know, safeguarded. So absolutely, I think that people are afraid that he will become the next president and the kind of retaliation they will get if they speak out. And to answer your question, I would love it if every single person
I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand what's going on. My brain is fizzled just trying to begin to work out why is it lies, lies, lies are the order of the day. It used to be there was kind of two ways of doing politics. It was state-funded, put money into state public services, etc., or more capitalist, support private industries, etc. You could understand the two sides of the argument. There's now a third side of the argument, which is just basically lies and BS to, I have no idea what people like Tim Scott, Diaper Don, Nancy Mace, Matt Gaetz, Kevin McCarthy, I don't get it. Not interested in the truth, Marjorie Taylor Greene, not interested in representing you or anybody else, but they have the vote. What is it exactly they are doing with it? Moaning, whinging and complaining, always on social media, always saying the world's going to fall in, and people lap it up, they believe it.
From now, the entire world will witness the commencement of the very first Biden trial. They're all Biden trials, you know that, right? And I'm proud to do it for you. Have a good time watching. Have a good time watching. On Monday in New York City, I will be forced to sit fully gagged. I'm not allowed to talk. Can you believe it? They want to take away my constitutional right to talk. I have a crooked judge. This has never happened before, by the way. You do know that, right? Fully gagged before a highly conflicted and corrupt judge who suffers from TDS. Does anyone know what TDS is? Correct. Trump derangement syndrome.
And as he expressed last night in Pennsylvania to a massive crowd of people that were on their feet clapping and cheering, is that the sad truth is this would have never happened to Israel if President Trump were still in the White House. Just a few years ago, there was peace in the Middle East. President Trump got Arab nations to come to the table to negotiate peace deals with Israel that never spoke before he was the negotiator in chief. He signed historic sanctions on the Iranian regime, cutting off the neck of the Iranians. They had never been more weak, more broke. And just in a matter of a few years, Joe Biden has reversed all of President Trump's very effective policies. And now they have been emboldened. And we've seen that aggression. The world is in chaos right now because of Joe Biden's weakness. And it just shows how petty and ridiculous this trial that we have starting in New York is tomorrow. When the world is at war, when our border is under invasion by terrorists and criminals, when inflation is increasing, the Democrats and Joe Biden are focused on prosecuting the former president of the United States.
We're going to get to that trial in just one moment.
But the thing I don't really understand is nobody questions the garbage. Some of what Diaper Don had to say at his rally was just, it's outrageous. It really is just outrageous. But it's okay, isn't it? Nobody really says anything. Why? Every day, Fox just lie. They really do. It's not news. I know they're not using their title.
Just this week, it was reported that an illegal and you just look at this, what's happening.
Yeah, and they're not. It's all opinion. It's never really looking at any news. It's never really understanding the debate, understanding the arguments that go into forming an opinion. It's just rhetoric. Same old rhetoric. Same old bitter rhetoric. Same old feel bad and blame everybody. Always a lot of homophobia, borderline racism, Islamophobia, anything they can put in is everyone else's fault. And people have made huge careers out of it. The world has been ending for how long now? How long has the world been ending, according to various different politicians, normally the Trumpy Trump type? Why is there so much cynicism? Why is Trump allowed to say right now, if he doesn't win, the world ends? Is it fear? Are they selling fear? Are they selling insecurity? What is it? If you watch Fox non-stop, what is it that Fox does for you? Because it's easy for me to say what it doesn't do for you. Just tell me the story. Go on.
Did you speak with President Trump privately about what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing?
I spent hours with the president on Friday. He and I talk frequently, many times, usually in a week. We have a long relationship. He's 100% with me, and he said, we'll get this job done. That's a distraction. What Marjorie's done with the motion to vacate is not helpful for our party, for our mission to save the country, because if we don't grow the House majority, keep the House majority, win the Senate, and win back the White House for President Trump, we're going to lose the Republic. You know, Maria, we often say the next election cycle is the most important one in our lifetime. Everyone knows this is for all the marbles. People are fed up. The American people are fed up. President Biden's open borders with his inflation and the cost of living and the out-of-control spending, the weakness on the world stage and the weaponization of the government, we have to stop it. What we need to do right now, and we will be, our party needs to stay united. We need to go out and tell the American people how we'll be different. Not just what we're against, but what we're for.
Because it's easy for me to say what it doesn't do for you. Just tell me the story.
I think we're going to do that.
Go on.
Speaker, you said that.
Let me know the story. What is the story? You know the story? There's got to be a story. There's got to be a reason. There's always a reason. It doesn't just happen. You don't just sort of, oh, where's the remote? Where's the remote? Oh, Fox. Oh, breaking news. It's all toilet. But people are sitting, watching and listening. Why? I am missing something. Why?